A lot of it has to do with the day job thing as an artist.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was really hard to have a day job and feel like I could still call myself an artist.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't let it be a hobby. And everyone tried to make it a fucking hobby. And
Yeah.
they'd call it my hobby. And that used to fucking burn.
Yeah.
I still hate it. Like, don't call it a hobby.
Yeah, it's not a
Like, it's
hobby.
not a fucking hobby. Like, I guess fucking sneakers are a hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
My collections, the things that I like to collect, that I like to buy, like that to me, that's a hobby.
that's a
Making
hobby.
making models is a fucking hobby.
Yeah, building Legos.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my artwork
Yeah.
is not a hobby.
Because you're creating something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my essence. That's who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. How
So it's
about,
almost insulting when
do you
people
feel
call
like
it a
an
hobby.
artist when you're painting for somebody else?
Yeah. Yep. That can.
Really?
Well, yes. That being said, it still has to be the kind of work that I do,
Yeah.
which is something I think you really align with because it's a it's something you kind of say in your own ways many times that you do things your way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's how you do them. And that's initially, I think, even kind of how we started the conversation when you originally said no to kind of doing any work with anyone you weren't already working with,
Yeah.
because you need to know if the person that's reaching out wants your work because they like your work
Yeah.
or just because they want someone that shoots videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, there's so many times where somebody would just champion the work, and they'll be like, the amount of times I've gotten a message, I was like, oh my God, the way you see things is so different. It's amazing. Do you want to shoot my baby shower?
Right.
I'm like, there's absolutely no way you see what I've made and you think, you know what you would do perfectly? Uh, my daughter's ballet recital.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, look, like, and I guess that's the problem now, right? Where that's why I asked, like, do you feel like an artist when you're creating stuff for others? Because I think that's where a lot of people end up going, right? They buy the camera for fun, and then they want to make stories, and then money comes in, and that you need money, and these small jobs is what keeps things alive, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'll do a recital here and a photo shoot there, and then next thing you know, you're taking like pregnancy shoots for like 10 years, and you have a studio just for that, and you used to be this artist.
I feel like you have to make those decisions,
Yeah.
right? What you do and what you don't do.
Uh,
It's okay to let yourself do certain things for a while that you don't see as the end game,
hmm
but you have to know when to quit. You have to know when to move on and when to evolve. There were several times, like when I first was painting sneakers and doing t-shirts and stuff like that, I would set up tables at hip hop shows all over the place.
Yeah.
Whether it was a hip hop show at the Middle East or if it was some kind of festival or something like that, that's what I was doing. And then eventually I was like, I'm not setting up fucking tables anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not the fucking dude that sits behind a fucking merch table with all this stuff that I put so much work into for people to walk up and just kind of act like they don't get it.
Yeah.
Or like
Or just
tell me my
value
shit's
you right in front
cool.
of you. Yeah.
Right. Or just like look at what I'm charging for something and scoff or act like
Yeah.
or try to talk me down or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is not what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah.
What that created is a lull.
Yeah.
Like there was an ebb, right? Because things ebb and flow, and there was an ebb where it was tough for me to find what the new opportunities were going to be. And in the meantime, I created a basketball tournament, a charity basketball tournament. I started creating and that went on for 5 years and was actually really successful. And I started creating wall art when I hadn't done that previously. I was only doing sneakers and t-shirts. And then
Oh, it started with sneakers?
right, painting on sneakers.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So
I didn't know that.
the whole idea was, so I was painting on sneakers and we were using my brother's artwork for our t-shirts.
That's not bad.
Right. And then at a certain point, my brother didn't want to have shit to do with the company. He wanted to do tattoos and just do his own thing. I was kind of starting to hate painting on sneakers. And what I hated about it was that client process. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not just getting to paint on sneakers or do whatever. It's like people will give their opinions and all kinds of shit. They're rushing me and asking me when things are going to be done and all of that. So it's for all the wrong reasons, I guess. But I started to like the idea of making larger scale wall art.
Yeah.
And my original pieces, honestly, when I look back at them, fucking suck. But at the time, they were just what I needed to get through me so that I could start to get through the work that was actually good.
Yeah.
But during that time frame, like I had to get better. Well, I had to start actually creating
Yeah.
the kind of art that I wanted to be creating. And then B, I had to actually get halfway decent at it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I started to see different opportunities for art shows and stuff like that, and actually being part of larger scale art showcases and stuff like that, whether it was group art shows with multiple artists showing their work, or and then so that's what it was at first. It'd be multiple artists showing their work, and they're just people whether they're running the art show and they're getting the artist to promote it for them, which is a model that is somewhat popular, and then or well, doing those kind of showed me how easy it could be.
Yeah.
You just need a space. And a lot of club venues, especially like at least at the time, on a Thursday night, they don't got shit going on.
No.
So
Still.
they'll give you the room on a Thursday night.
So I'm doing the listening party actually Thursday night, and
Right, right. Like
yeah.
they'll give you a room on a Thursday night. If you're gonna bring people in, they're gonna buy drinks, buy food,
Yeah.
and you want to fill the room with art, and you're gonna bring in other artists that are gonna fill in the room with art. We're gonna have a poppin' Thursday night. All of a sudden, like
Yeah. They'll
great,
take it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, great. But a lot of times they wouldn't even charge you anything.
No.
They would just let you do it,
Technically, you're making the money.
right? Because you're creating a busier night for them than they would normally have.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and they would be either group art shows that I was putting together that I was curating other artists for to show in. So it'd be like the Gaslight in Portsmouth. We did a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Um, and then I had my space, and then I was doing it in my own space. And so
The
but
space up in
in Dover, right?
yeah.
And
That's a big space.
it is a big space. So we actually did a lot there. We did a lot there.
Yeah.
We did a lot there.
I
Like
like
there,
that space. Honestly, that's it. I'd want that space. Like even if
yeah,
it means
yeah.
driving up there.
That's why I haven't let go of it.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't let go of it.
Like
Because
it's
even
huge, dude.
yeah, yeah, I love that. I lived in there. I loved
Yeah.
that. I loved it. It was funny. I was listening to Modern Wisdom podcast this morning, and he was interviewing Andrew Huberman. And Andrew Huberman, I guess, just moved into uh, a like repurposed art gallery,
Yeah.
and he was saying that everyone needs to live in an art gallery at some point. And
That's like the New York dream.
I had to say that is the most true shit because
Yeah.
there were some really hard moments because I was completely broke, but living in my art studio was in some ways like just a highlight.
Was it one of
That
those
was
art
so
studios
amazing.
that like got too hot in the cold nights and was too cold on the summer nights?
No, there were times like that because
It's like
at
industrial. It's a mill.
well, yeah, and my fucking thermostat was in my
Yeah.
neighbor's suite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
I used to actually text him all the time, be like, "It's
we'll
fucking
put it
cooking in
down.
here," and
Yeah.
she's like, "But it's freezing over here." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
we gotta do something because this doesn't work."
My studio either gets blazing hot because of all the computers that are on and the
Oh,
heater,
sure.
and then when you put the AC on, it just gets freezing cold. And like I was telling my friend the other day that I needed a beanbag in the studio. I'm like, cause I'm there all the time to the point where I'm like, if I can just take a quick nap and get back up and just kind of continue what I was doing, I don't want to go home yet. And I be at the studio for so long. Sometimes just watching videos. Sometimes we're creating. Other times we're
Yeah,
just getting ready to head out to create. But like, I think it is the idea of being there. It's like the New York dream. You wake up, big pillars, stone walls, and you have a Japanese bed that's on the floor, and
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
aesthetic. You pull
yeah.
up and
Right.
someone's like, "Are you an artist?" I'm like, "How'd you know?"
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's yeah. I think we all want that. But lately I've been battling the idea of how to stay creative when you're under stress. Like when you're stressed about life things, real things, like things that are like your livelihood, it's so hard to think of creativity in those moments for me.
Really? I feel like that's kind of counterintuitive.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like I know people. Fuck, I might be one of them myself. That
Work better under stress?
and almost as much as I hate to admit it, sometimes create the stress to
Yeah,
be able to have something to pull from.
yeah.
Um, I, I I hate to admit that, but it's true, and that kind of honesty is honestly the reason that I wanted to start this podcast in the first place. Um, because I think that's a real thing, and it shouldn't be that way. I don't know. There's a concept of the tortured artist, and I've embodied it in too many ways. And the problem is, I think sometimes we do create those issues ourselves, and so I feel like there's more. I don't know. I find more, not necessarily even reasons, but more motivation to create if things aren't great.
Maybe you're right. You know the trailer to the album?
Um, is that the one you just dropped?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That wasn't the original idea. The original idea had to do with going up to a cabin and recording like a whole thing that was written out and everything.
Okay, yeah.
And I needed to record it soon. January was around the corner, and I remember I was stressed because I just didn't know whether or not that was going to be a thing.
Mhm.
And then I'm like talking to my cousin about it, stressed, mind you. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I
Oh
don't.
yeah, you seemed a little stressed at the gym, yeah, when I
Yeah.
saw you, yeah.
And then um we were just talking, and I was like, and we might have to make a video like right here in the studio. And then we did. And in that moment of like that whole day of just being stressed in the morning out of my mind to we did this video and I love it. Yeah. I do wait until last minute. I think as an artist we want to shoot it right at the buzzer beater. That's kind of what I like buzzer beater art, whereas like out the cut you come out of nowhere with like this piece that's amazing.
I feel like I've heard something lately about why we procrastinate and how a lot of us do create best under pressure. Part of it is like, so there's the person, because what's actually funny is there's a person who just gets it done right away. Like in
Yeah.
school, there's a person who just gets the assignment done right away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they get it done early.
Highlighters and all.
Right. And then there's a person who will procrastinate and at the last minute
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah.
Sometimes the grades are higher on the procrastinators because they're giving themselves more creative time,
Yeah.
right? More creative time to think through something. So I don't like to make it an excuse, but sometimes I will take that creative leeway or that freedom because the whole time I'm still ruminating on it. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, I come up with the best ideas when I'm actually working.
Hmm. You know what's interesting?
But it doesn't have to be the project that I am supposed to be working on
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
necessarily come up with the idea.
I um I remember I say this story a lot because it really it showed me kind of like who I was and where I was. It was like a reality check. But I remember I used to go to this counselor's office a lot just to like in high school just to really shoot the shit and do nothing. But I was there and there was this kid who went to my high school. He always came in dressed in the most preppy way possible. Like he dressed smart, right? Talking about Abercrombie, American Eagle pants, like tucked in shirt, vest on, like very, very like scholarly, like an Oxford man, essentially, is what he dressed like, right? And I remember everybody's perception of this guy was that he was destined to go to like an Ivy League, like he was smart. He had everything all put together.
Right.
And I remember when I was going to the counselor's office and he was walking out. I remember going to my counselor just like I wish I was as smart as him, because I wouldn't be struggling this much. And she's looked at me and she's like, you have better grades than him. And I'm like, huh? She's like, Jen, sometimes people have to work 10 times harder
Hmm.
to get to the position that you're at.
Hmm.
And then that's when I realized that like the irregular mind like is where I live at. I can, no matter how well I dress, no matter how clean it looks, my mind is messy, and my art is messy, and sometimes, like you said, like we make the mess in order to navigate it. If my mom came into my art studio and just organized it and put everything away, I'd be like, "Where's my ruler?" And like I know my ruler was in that corner
Right,
with a bunch of other
right, right,
bullshit.
right.
And yeah,
Sometimes
um,
we need the mess. Yeah, I mean, my studio gets pretty fucking messy, and sometimes I watch some of these artists on Instagram
the aesthetic
who's,
ones.
yeah, and their studios like fucking doesn't, there's not a drop of paint
Yeah.
anywhere, and they make a sick painting, but part of me just wonders how much of that is like just staged
Hmm.
and with concepts borrowed from other artists that they just found a cool way to put it together. They're not necessarily as in the creative process. At least it doesn't feel like it. I hate to be the judge,
They're
but
not getting their
that's
hands
to
dirty.
me right, right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where the fun is. I like the paint on my hands. I like the paint on the floor and on my
Yeah.
clothes while I'm doing it and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I lean towards a very like I've realized I lean towards a very vintage aesthetic where I do like the irregular look and like
I think you go all over the place.
I think I am
Yeah,
all over the place.
no, and that's cool.
Yeah. But you know, like I said, I was been watching Mad Men, and just the idea of like the grain, the Ray-Ban like clear glasses, the cigarette where you're just like at night 4 a.m. with like scotch and you're just thinking about what to do. I think those are the moments that like that's the nostalgia that I chase often. Like I love that shot of like the busy man, you know?
It's clear that you like nostalgia from your work.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I
yeah.
see a lot of it, and
Yeah.
it's rare for me to see to feel nostalgic about someone's work that's younger than me.
I know. I know.
like and that's honestly I think probably what really attracted me to it, and it has kind of a um childhood memories mixed with
Movies.
like movies and playfulness even. Like there's a boyish playfulness in your videos
That's cool.
that I think I can't be the only person that thinks that. And it's if they feel good,
Yeah.
you know?
Thank you.
And I think that that's what people get from them.
I spend, you know, I remember a couple weeks ago someone asked like how'd I learn all these things and I don't I think when I first got the camera I was watching tutorials on how to like set up the settings and you know whatever like the what you do in like 10 minutes from a video you're like okay cool like we'll figure out the settings, right? But now and what I've been doing for like the last year is I've just been watching other people's stuff. And like sometimes I go out and I buy a book because it looks nice and the photos in there are cool. But like I I have decided to become just like a sponge to it all, where like if I like a shot real bad, I just screenshot it and then I try to do it later. Or if I have an idea, I try to like run back to it or figure out how to shoot it. Like very rarely am I watching 101 lighting. It's like I'm just watching someone record something at night. And I'm like, huh, that's how you get
Yeah.
that like I just shot.
Learning from the example, not the tutorial.
Yeah,
Right.
like I don't watch how to shoot cinematic. I just watch a movie and I'm like,
You're
that
paying
doesn't seem that
attention.
hard. And I'm like, let's go try that. And then, you know, depending, right? Like I've had this conversation before where it's like there's certain things where you do go nostalgic, right? Where it's like if I'm trying to depict a memory, you add some grain, you know?
So going back to that feeling you just mentioned, that doesn't look too hard, or I think I can do that.
Yeah.
So How did it turn out when you first tried?
My first couple videos, I didn't. I there's a misconception that like cinematic is up close. Like look at the details of this flower. Like and you can see like the pollen and then the look at that the
That's macro.
yeah, it's just macro. But you
Right.
think that it's like an example of quality. Um,
Right. Yeah.
how do you make somebody feel something from a wide angle? And that was where I was like, I want that. Like I give so much flowers to photographers who can shoot with a fixed lens, like wide, 28, like wide, and I could feel something from that because it's hard for everything in that image to fall in line to your
Because they
emotion.
know how to use the frame.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when I first started, even if it was like a lighter, I'd be like right there. Like, and it's like you could barely see my hand, you just see the fire. And it's like the fire looks good, but it's nothing.
So you just started doing this a year ago? You
Yeah.
just,
Shooting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say it was actually motivating for me to see like your end of year videos showing like you
The
saying that.
December.
Yeah, yeah. Well, just saying because that this is where, or that one of my big goals for next year is just to be comfortable doing
Oh,
this.
yeah, the recap.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. And every time we've kind of done some work leading up to this stage, and I'm still working on it, but
Yeah.
I'm already so much more comfortable
Yeah.
just knowing that a camera's on
Yeah.
than when, when we did our all or nothing interview, or the first time that we kind of shot something for like my trailer or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I could really relate to that, and it was kind of encouraging. Like, okay, like as much as I've heard it, it's even true. Like in this perfect example right next to me here, where um, you're so comfortable in your videos now,
Yeah.
and even I could kind of even see it in that video you
That
posted that
recap, right?
you weren't.
I wasn't
Right,
even looking at the camera. I was like,
right,
yeah.
right. So that's encouraging. And but so what was it? What was it that actually made you decide that you wanted to start doing video? Because you've been doing creative work for a long time
Yeah.
as a musician.
Um,
Where did that?
when I started
Because it
making
seems like it's not
music,
small. It's it's
yeah, it
it's
was a
like this is this is
gradual.
this is a but this is a big part of your creative work
Now,
now.
yeah,
Right, right.
yeah, it has its own life now, and identity, which I think I just managed to combine recently, which I'll get to. But dude, when I used to travel with my ex, I used to make these cool videos of like just from my phone, just like record something here, record there, and then like just kind of chop it up together with
So
music.
reels.
Yeah, just made reels and like
So it started with editing.
yeah, editing just clips together, and then I
Mm-hmm.
gave it to her.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even post it. And then I just saw everyone like, whoa. And I was like, people like that? Like, I thought it was pretty simple. But people kept talking about perspective and how I saw certain things from a perspective. Whereas I wouldn't just record,
That's the word I used. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like a bridge. I'd probably record driving under it, right? And it's like, just like, I don't know. For a while, I just didn't know what it was. And then I lost my job 2, 3 years ago, and with my retirement money, it was like $2,500 that I got out of like my 401k from this job that I hated, and I was
Right.
like, I've always wanted a photo camera, so I just used my retirement money and I bought a photo camera, and I said I'll just be broke this whole summer. And that summer, I had a Fuji film, still have a Fuji, and I just shot all summer, and every single time I posted a photo, everyone was like, "Whoa!" Right? And I think one day I just started recording random stuff with that Fuji camera. It's not a great video camera. It does its job, but I just started recording with it and more people started noticing. And that's when we started stepping into last year where I'm like, I went to a wedding and they recorded it. It was in Boca Raton, Florida. And when we got the video back, I remember I was in it and it looked like we were in a Netflix movie. Like, I mean, the guy paid like 7,000 for this video. Like, he
Hmm.
paid a lot of money, but I remember how it looked, and I'm like, whoa, like I look like I'm in a Netflix movie. What camera is that? And then I got into that camera specifically. It's a Netflix certified camera. They shot Severance with that camera, and
Okay.
I remember thinking, I want that. Like it, and I was like, how much is it? Money's not a problem. It was $6,000.
Mhm.
And I was like, but I was already fixated on the thing. Like I was like, nah, I want it. Um, and so I got it. I literally copped it. And I remember it felt like a punch to the gut when I bought it because I was like, I just spent $6,000 on something I don't even know if I can use. And then it arrived, and I was with my boy, and we were just shooting random stuff and just still getting, that's when the tutorial started coming in. And at that moment, I took a social media break because I was cutting and leaning out, and I was working on an album,
Mhm.
and I wanted to just come back a different person. And that was the time I took to just focus on the content and just videos. And yeah, I started shooting around, and I started walking out, and using this camera for everything, recorded every single moment and just tried to get better at it. And then come January, when I came back to social media, I posted that like those month and a minute videos where I just spoke about what I learned in that month. And like it was so well received. And I remember when I uploaded it, my stomach was in knots because it was a new. I don't feel that way often. I feel that way when an album's about to drop and I get nervous. Like when I just dropped my trailer, I get that knot, right? When the listening party, I'm gonna have a knot. Like the day the music is out, knot. And that's how I know that I'm doing something courageous and different and bold. So when I bought the camera, I got a knot, and when I felt comfortable enough to post something that I liked, even though at the time I thought it was perfect, I said, "All right, screw it, let's do it." And it was so well received, and so many people liked it that I just kind of kept doing it, and then gradually just continued on. And then around February, March, I went to All Else, and then spoke to Kyle about making videos. And one thing I've always been good at is selling a story,
Mhm. Mhm.
and even in that moment when I felt like I was still learning on how to use the camera, sold the story of knowing that I knew exactly how to do it. And we ultimately became that person. But yeah,
Right. So you sold yourself.
the vision
Yeah. So
before the vision arrived, I guess.
right. Well, sometimes we have to put ourselves out there on that limb
Yeah,
before we'll actually learn how to flap our wings, right? I'm not trying
yeah.
to sound cheesy, but you
No, it's
really
true.
have to sometimes put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be good at this.
yeah,
I know I'm gonna try. I know I can do it. You have the confidence that I can do this,
yeah,
but somehow you're able to convince someone. And sometimes like while you're convincing yourself at the same time.
yeah,
And sometimes that's the motivation that we need to actually go through with it and actually,
yeah.
right,
You know,
to actually push.
Actually, on that same note, when I first got my Fuji camera, I was unemployed, and I remember I walked into this new place. They just opened up not too long ago, and a woman came up to me and she's like, "Oh my God!" Like, she saw my camera. She's like, "Do you shoot? Do you shoot content?" And I was like videos? I don't even know if the camera shot videos." She's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "How much?" And I remember I was like, 500." She's like, "Bet, can you come tomorrow? Like, I'm having an event here, and I just want you to shoot it." And then a couple years later, I mean, obviously that summer I made videos for her, was able to survive. And that was one spot. Isn't that crazy? And it became this big spot. And for my album, they allowed me to do the listening party there because
Oh,
of that.
word. Yeah. So that
And
that created a relationship for you.
yeah, and now second time around, we're doing another listening party over there.
That's such an important part of the journey is those relationships that you make in those moments, I think.
Hmm.
When there's nothing working, nothing coming together,
Yeah,
in those like tiny moments where you just had the camera and she's
yeah.
like, "Hey, do you make content? Yeah, we'll come tomorrow."
Unbeknownst to me that I'd even be like, I remember we had the listening party at a different place, and then the day 2 days before it got canceled on me. They're like, we can't do it here anymore. That something happened. And I remember I hit her up, and I was like, hey, I need a favor. and maybe too much. I understand if it's too much. And then I asked her, like, can I do the listening party at your spot? And she's like, you didn't even have to ask. And I remember thinking, whoa, this is why we do. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even, I was telling my boys, I was like, I don't even care. Obviously, I care about money, but the connections you make, the doors you're able to open because of who you are is way more valuable. I
It's
love that. That's a
it's
flex.
it's pretty amazing, right? And in those times when we don't have much
Yeah.
to our names,
Yeah.
but our names
They're like,
are
that's
worth something.
like, oh, that's Brian. That's crazy, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's but you've experienced it, you're living that,
Yeah.
or you've lived it.
Yeah.
That was a time, and what's funny is during those times, it's the struggle, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're looking at you like, from perspective, everyone's like,
Well, but I mean, like you said, you were unemployed.
yeah.
Didn't sound like things were going well.
No, no.
You cash out your little, like I've done the same thing. You have a job for a while, you end up with some kind of little piddly 401k, so you cash it out.
You're like,
So it's just because like, yeah, just give me the money. Like, what do I need this fucking 401k
yeah,
for? And so and you take that, you buy a camera, and you spend some time over the summer
sharpening a sword you
honing
didn't know
honing a new
existed.
craft, right?
Yeah,
And finding a lane that you didn't see one before, and building those relationships. And the funny thing is, during those times, like how many times did you think to yourself, like, were you down on yourself, or were you really only focusing on the negative in the moment,
yeah, a
right?
lot. I think every single time in those moments where I knew I was getting paid to deliver something,
Hmm.
I was like, this might be the moment they realize I'm a fraud. And then you're there and like,
Imposter syndrome, right?
yeah, I
Right.
was
It
there in
starts
those
early.
events and I'm like, they're like, oh, Jens, can you shoot this real quick? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I hope that came out fire because I don't know.
I've heard so many people say how it's only successful people or talented people that have imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
And I think there's a couple things there. I think one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot with that is that it's that imposter syndrome that pushes us to be good
yeah,
because we're constantly trying to be good enough to not feel like we're not good enough.
yeah,
And the people who don't have imposter syndrome just don't understand the difference or are too arrogant to
yeah.
think that they need to get better at something.
Do you feel like, do you feel like you feel more successful when you prove something to yourself in that imposter syndrome, or you prove something to somebody else that expected it from you?
Um, Myself.
Yeah,
I mean, that lasts longer anyway.
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
feels really good.
It's tangible. Yeah, it's
Yeah, like it feels really good when you see that look on someone's face, like, holy fuck, dude, you really?
yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah,
Like that's such a sweet feeling,
yeah,
but that's pure ego.
yeah.
And
That is ego, isn't it?
the older I get, I'm really trying to just
Damn, that is ego.
like remove myself from. No, it's 100% ego. Why the fuck do I care what he thinks?
Yeah,
Really, especially about anything I'm doing creatively.
yeah,
And that's a big part of this endeavor for me is really trying to remove myself from that because my ego does not want me fucking talking to a microphone on camera
yeah.
interviewing people.
I didn't
It
even realize that.
really doesn't.
You know, you know what I've been doing a lot lately is I do this every time. I let people listen to like my project, like like private listens, and it's cool to do it sometimes. But if I had the world in line, or like the whole world in line, I'd let everyone hear it.
Mm.
But just to see the
I've
reaction.
been so, yeah, because you need it.
Yeah,
Because you need it. You like the silence, you have it, but the
yeah,
silence about all this work that you're putting in is kind of is
yeah,
eating at you a little bit.
yeah,
So I find the same thing as I'm doing little shit for the podcast, and I'm like sending it over to somebody. I caught myself doing that. I sent you one. I sent, I think, one to somebody else. In fact, there's a good friend of mine I stopped sending anything to
yeah.
because he would like it and he'd be like, "Yeah, it's cool," but it's just like, you know what, like. And there was a couple times where his response wasn't negative
But it
at
wasn't
all,
what you
but it
what.
wasn't what I was hoping for. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
why? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
why am I
It's
doing
like a
this?
dopamine we're
Yeah,
chasing.
right, right. Well, I'm chasing, why am I looking for validation, especially now?
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah.
And if he gave me feedback, do I really want his feedback?
Yeah.
And
Would you
so,
take it?
right, right,
Yeah.
right. And
That's so
what am I
crazy.
looking for here? You know, I'm
Yeah.
looking for someone to pat me on the back or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
just do the fucking work.
Yeah. My boy
Period.
the other day was like, "Oh, I wish it was 15 tracks instead of 13." And I'm like, "Fuck you." I was like, yo, I was so upset. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you didn't even know how many tracks it was. You wasn't even counting. And I was like, yeah, why do
Well, and the issue with that too is sometimes people are like, "Oh, you should do this." And sometimes when you do that, sometimes they think that you're open to feedback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Like you was asking, it was an open
right.
forum.
I guess I like to be honest with people. I'll tell them if I don't like something.
Yeah.
Like I will tell a friend of mine, okay, yeah, just this isn't my favorite track. Like I like this one, I
Yeah.
like this, whatever, but this particular one is just not my favorite. It's dope. I get why you did it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just it's not my favorite. I mean, if it totally sucks, I mean, it might be a different conversation, but I'll still try to be honest with them,
Yeah.
and in an encouraging way that maybe can help them try to work through it. But yeah, it's like, what are we really looking for there? And it really I find it hurts more than helps when I do that. So
Yeah.
I've stopped doing it because also I find myself creating this fucking kind of like what we were talking about earlier. And this is a good friend of mine where I'm questioning as to whether or not he believes in me or not
Yeah.
because I'm not getting as good of a reaction as I was expecting. I'm not getting a bad reaction. He's not
Yeah.
telling me this shit sucks,
Yeah.
but he's not like giving me what I hoped for or what my ego was
Looking for when you
looking
sent it.
for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and now I'm coming to this place where I'm questioning about whether or not he thinks it's any good or not, or if he really believes that I'm capable of this, or if he's doubting me, which is really just me doubting me, and I'm fucking projecting it on him for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah. That's tough, man. And
But recognizing these things and recognizing that my mind does that helps me control it more.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's something I'm really just coming to in my 40s, honestly. And I feel like it's caused so many problems in my life
Yeah.
up until this point. I mean, no regrets, right? But there's probably plenty of situations that I fucked up that weren't fucked up that I thought were fucked up.
Yeah. That's so crazy. That's crazy. Like, because I think I needed to hear that. I think ultimately this whole, because we've been talking for a while, I think this whole entire time I've lost track of who I was doing it for. And I think that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm thinking here, like, I'm like, yo, when was the last time I even went out and shot just for myself?
Yeah.
Like, I used to do that just because I was like, oh, I have to. This is what I do. I love it. And now I'm like, no, like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's the creative act.
Yeah.
It's a creative act, my friend. Like that's,
Jeez.
if you're still working through that, finish the book,
Yeah.
but there's so much to be said for that because realistically, and I think when you've been to some of the places that you and I have been, it can only be so bad.
Yeah.
It'll never be as bad as it's been, but I guess that's why a certain part of me can take the risk and make the decision like I made recently, where my wife's like wanting to support me, but she's like, "You fucking crazy?"
Yeah.
And you want to leave your leadership role to like you're gonna set up your office to do fucking podcasts?
To
Like,
talk.
like what are you doing? You don't do this.
Yeah.
You don't do this. Like,
Yeah.
what? So this is so. But again, I'm putting myself out there on that limb, and I'm gonna learn to fucking flap my wings.
Something's gonna
Right,
work.
right,
Yeah.
right. You sometimes you have to put yourself in that position in order to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
But I think we need that. I think it is healthy, as crazy as it sounds in today's world, because we're supposed to make sure that we're financially stable. We're supposed to do all kinds of things, but it's not like anyone's really fucking doing it right
Yeah.
at all, right? We're all just figuring out life, and you understand that more and more as you go on. But there's something to be said of just realizing what is actually important, which is here, right? Because if this is not where it needs to be, then nothing else can be in place.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what if that's what's going to make you healthy to do that, it's only best in the long term. And what I also have learned too is every time that I've made an important decision like that, even when it felt like the wrong decision at the time, eventually it became the right decision. And I'm probably fortunate in that regard, but I guess that's the matter of loops closing too, is you got to give it time. Nothing's going to happen overnight,
Yeah.
as we know that. But sometimes you just might not see how that loop's going to close because you just aren't far enough down the road yet,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and so sometimes just being patient is the best thing. Patient with yourself, being kind to yourself, but understanding, I mean, as long as you don't just jump off the deep end, which I've done,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing that now. And I don't think you're doing that either, but it's important to make sure that you take the time to, yeah, to get into why you're doing this. You'll feel better too.
Yeah. You'll probably make even better stuff.
Right. And those are the times too where it's like you will like turn your phone off. Turn your phone off, let yourself get completely immersed in what you're actually creating. I used to do that in my studio, and sometimes I'd pull an all-nighter without even realizing it because I was just stuck working on a piece, and was just that was the only time that like my brain turned off, and I'm just playing. Let's
Hmm.
play,
Damn. No, it's true.
and
It's
you feel
true.
so much better.
Yeah. It's so funny because we've just started doing cinematography full time and content creating full time. And it I think you were the one that told me like, did you think that you were going to do this and it was just going to be easy?
Right.
And I'm like, at the time I was like, nah. And obviously,
But part of you did. Part of you wanted it to
yeah,
be.
a part of
You
me
thought you already
wanted.
did the work.
Honestly, I thought like after a private jet, how low to the ground could I really get?
Mm-hmm.
Like metaphorically and literally.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is very fast.
Mm.
It's that once you land and you're walking,
Well, when it's not your jet.
exactly, it's not yours. And that is what I learned. That like
Mm-hmm.
all these amazing things that are happening don't feel as good if they're not yours, you know?
Right.
Like that listening party is going to feel amazing.
Right.
I will feel amazing. I will feel like the artist because it's mine.
Right.
Now, going to buy a suit for an event that's not yours, it probably just feels like,
When you're really just you're doing it with the hopes of getting more out of it that might not
yeah,
become anything. But who knows? Because those loops still got to close. But
yeah.
um, yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I need to start creating. I was like, and that's that. I think that's the unfortunate cycle that I think us as artists, what it used to be. Back when I was in college making just music, I used to talk to a girl and then psych myself out into arguments so that I could write about the arguments and write about the sad part. Like I couldn't get into a relationship.
I can see how that could help a musician,
Yeah,
a writer.
like
Absolutely.
you ever see an artist like reportedly like, oh, they broke up with so and so, and someone's like, this album's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it felt like. Like I needed to be sad.
Well, and that kind of goes back to some of those mental things we were talking about earlier
Yeah,
too, where it's just like sometimes as a defense mechanism, you'll create the negative,
yeah,
you'll create the negative outcome because, well, A, it's like you need something to happen. You can't
yeah,
deal with the silence or the uncertainty
yeah,
of where you're at. So could it go good? Could it go bad? Fuck it. I'm just going to make it go bad because I can control that.
Yeah.
And if it goes bad, then this is what I can do or
And
what
this
I
is
can do about it.
yeah, and
Right.
reel it
Rather
back.
than giving it some time for it to go good
Yeah.
or to actually maybe approach it in the way that we'd have to, that might be uncomfortable for it to go good. And we just, and that's where we're stuck.
Yeah.
And
We want it to
rather
teeter
than
either way.
growing into the what would make it good, we go the easy route and making
Yeah.
it bad. And then we can blame that. We can do all kinds of shit, and we can actually our ego can make us feel like we're the ones who were the victim or that we were
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
It's absolutely wild. I didn't even. It is crazy because I didn't realize it. Like how even now you still you still always like I think a part of me pushes towards the negatives because in my mind I'm wired to think that that's reality.
Well, at a certain point, I think because if that's what you're used to,
Yeah.
if that's what you're used to, it gets easy to just take it there because that's what you're used to, so that's what you're expecting, and then later on, when you could actually have some control over it, you expect that result anyway, so you just go that direction, and then you can blame something else, you can do whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm. Yeah. It's it's tough, man.
It becomes what you're comfortable with, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then you just kind of like again, I think it's the idea of
Well, sorry, but it's also like you're avoiding doing the work,
yeah,
like
of the
doing the
mental work.
right, doing the mental work or the self work to have a different outcome.
Yeah. I think it's impatience
Oh,
of just letting
huge part of it.
things
Yeah,
just
huge
happen the
part
way
of it.
they
Let me
should.
just blow this the fuck up instead.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
shooting
right.
myself in the foot
Yep,
because at
yep,
least
yep.
then I'll get rushed to the emergency room.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just
yeah.
yep,
Dang,
yep.
it's true. It's like it's like when things are too quiet, I'm convinced that nothing is happening.
Right.
Like,
And sometimes that's when all the shit is happening.
yeah, like somebody could be having a conversation right now in an underdeveloped restaurant talking about your art, right? And talking about like I need that here. And then you can message them that same night talking about you don't care about me or what I'm doing and you're an idiot. And then they're like, I don't know if I like this Brian guy. You know, like
Yeah, right.
he's a little aggressive.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing is we just don't know.
Yeah.
Or when people just have busy lives or they've got kids or they've got things pulling a million different directions, they want to do this thing, but they haven't had the time that they want to be able to put into looking at it. In the meantime, someone's over there just waiting for the response and
Yeah.
doesn't understand what could possibly be taking so long, and so you'll just blow it up,
Yeah.
and patience is a huge, yeah, that's why they say it's a virtue,
Yeah.
right?
I've gotten I choose like a good three, four people I can just like scream into the void and then be like and
Mm-hmm.
then go back out there and just be like stoic. But yeah, no, I think everybody needs that like that person or punching bag, like literal punching bag or the gym or whatever, like just to just to let it out and then to like the general public. And that's kind of like another conversation where it's like how many people perceive you with everything you've done as lucky and not as hardworking?
Well, right,
And like
right.
that's what's been going on where
Even
like
friends, like
yeah.
even friends, like that's the fucking crazy thing is I have a friend who, and granted, this was at a time when I didn't have a lot. I really didn't have a lot. I didn't have much, but things would just seem to fall in my lap sometimes.
Hmm.
And he would all the time he'd be like, "What the fuck is up with you, dude? This happens and this happens. You just always like shit's always like falling in your lap."
Hmm.
Like one example is, and just a shout out to good friends, but my my car, I couldn't, I hadn't had my car inspected in months, properly inspected in months, because I couldn't afford to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually making the inspection stickers in fucking Photoshop
Really?
and putting them in my car, right? And getting by. Got by for a long time doing that, and finally got caught for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I can't drive this fucking car anymore. And a friend of mine who works in the city, takes the bus to the city every day, wasn't ever driving his car,
Mm-hmm.
and literally let me fucking borrow his car. The issue was that it was like buried under snow at his house because he hadn't driven it in months and it was
Mm-hmm.
wintertime and he just didn't even bother cleaning it off because he didn't
More
need
than
to
using
fucking
it.
drive it.
Yeah.
And so I had my boy give me a ride over there to go pick up the car. And he's just, well, first, he can't believe that I have a friend that's going to let me borrow a fucking car. Like, what do
Yeah,
you mean,
yeah,
dude?
yeah.
Like, whose friend just lets him borrow a fucking car for an indefinite amount of time?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and then we clean the car off. He's like, "This is a fucking Mustang GT." He goes, "What the fuck?" He's like this fucking guy. He's like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like shit. Just and I'm just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, but when you move a certain way, I think, and when you're really trying to put good things in the world, and you're really trying to you and your intentions behind everything you do are really good. I think that just opens a lot of doors for you in general.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you consider those type of friends? Are they friends?
I think those are friends. I think the term friends gets thrown around way too much
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Like people forget about the term acquaintance.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's a thing for a reason.
So that guy who just like it's not like he ultimately wanted something bad to
Oh,
happen.
that guy, is
That
he a
guy.
friend?
Is
Yeah,
he a friend?
yes, I consider him a friend. And that being said, because that same person also did things for me that only a friend would do.
Yeah.
The difference was, and same, I've done things for him that only a friend would do. And the difference was his lens,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Where
know?
it came from a perspective of you get everything you don't ask for, or it's like,
Right.
no, you're getting you're getting everything that you need. You know, like
Right.
like you have
How are we
enough
both
charisma.
how are we both broke, but you just are
Yeah.
all of this shit just ends up
Yeah.
falling in your lap.
And that's like energy, you know, and or
Well, right.
this what you bring into the world you
Right.
get back in abundance. And yeah, and you're not like doing it for that.
Right.
You didn't think, you know, all
Yes.
those good things you were doing
I
was going to get
wasn't
you a
friends with this guy.
Mustang
I wasn't
GT.
friends with this guy just so I could drive his Mustang GT
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, how you move through the world and all of that I think makes a big difference.
Hmm.
And just how you view things um has a lot to do with manifestation. I mean, manifestation becomes controversial because so many people think that when people talk about manifesting things in their life that they're not talking about like they're talking about just a genie and three wishes or some shit.
Yeah.
Manifestation is conscious thought plus action,
Yeah.
right? So and the things that'll start to manifest when you're consciously thinking about what you want to create or the life that you want to create,
Yeah.
like you're doing now, you know, like your Ashes to Architects story to me, and I don't know all of your ashes, but just being in a place where you just weren't happy. And it doesn't sound like you're happy with yourself personally. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like you're happy with your career trajectory.
Hmm.
And you took control of those things. How much weight did you lose?
I went from 206 to 160.
Right.
It's
So
like 40.
yeah, I mean that's a lot of weight. You
Yeah.
know, that's a big change. Losing 40 pounds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you look like a different person.
I know.
You know, because also
Yeah.
like there's the weight loss and then there's the body recomposition,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you change your body a lot
Yeah.
in a short amount of time. And then you really started leaning into creative work, which is what you actually want to do. And you're designing the life that you actually want to live.
Yeah.
The thing is you're reaching points, I think, which are totally natural where you aren't quite sure how this design is going to come together yet.
Yeah.
But you've started the blueprint and you're working on it.
You know
You're
what
doing
it
a great
also
fucking
is?
job too. So
Thank you.
yeah.
What it also is people's perceptions are getting louder, loud enough for me to hear,
How do
you
you mean?
know?
How do you mean?
Like there was a moment where I wasn't even thinking about the viewers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then the video started kind of taking off, and one TikTok has like 50,000 and a bunch of comments, and then IG is like tens of thousands, and then my follower count went from like 1,200 to like right now it's almost at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then you almost like you feel like instead of walking into an art studio, you walk up to a podium and there's like reporters like Jens, what's coming next? And you're like, ah, well, you just have to wait and see. And it's like I was never that, and that I realize won't go away, but I have to walk into the studio and do whatever I want, you know?
Well, and you have to realize too, what's easy, I think, at that stage is that's all just noise.
Yeah,
That's just all just noise,
noise.
especially now, because if you get too distracted with that now, then,
It's not yours anymore. You're creating it for the perception.
well, right. You're making, you have to make it for you.
Yeah.
You have to make it for you. If they like it, great. If they don't,
Mm.
then oh
Yeah.
well. But you keep making stuff.
Yeah.
That's the point. Because like the idea, like the goal isn't 7,000 followers. The goal isn't 700,000 followers,
Yeah.
right? The goal isn't tied up in your follower
Yeah.
count or what
Yeah.
people are commenting.
Yeah. It's just to keep doing whatever I like doing.
Well, and I guess, and so what's the goal? What's the vision? What's the overall vision? I think vision is more important than goals.
Yeah. The vision for me is to be able to live the life that I'm continuing to live and have like you're talking about in terms of like videos or like my life just in general.
Yeah, just in general, what's the vision?
Honestly, I want to be able to work less and live more.
Hmm.
And however, like there's moments and periods of my life throughout last year where it felt like we were teetering. And right now it feels like we're teetering more towards living more and working less. Ideally, right? One client a month that pays me enough to dilly dally and just do whatever and just show up and make videos and it would be the ideal, right? Or
Is that
right?
realistic though?
Yeah. No.
Right.
No. But
I mean, not at this stage, maybe.
yeah, but
You
my
know.
my goal is to ultimately have businesses and create sponsorships and become a renowned cinematographer where companies pay me to just keep doing what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Where they're like, you know what, I like the way you visualize tell your story. You are the main character in your world. We'll send you a lens that hasn't been released yet. Just make this video through that lens and let's just talk about it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
or Virgin Mobile wants to send me down a cruise and it'd be like, hey, spend a week and just record your time there. Like we'll sponsor that video. And it's like that is a goal. Short term slash long term is to become a brand, gents.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, that takes a lot of more content. That takes a lot of like creating uh a community and then
Hmm.
and building the idea that I can do this with my eyes closed. Because that's what clients like these companies want. They're like, we want to know we're giving you this experience and this amount of money to do what you do already.
Hmm.
And that yeah, there's certain people I follow that are doing it now, and I've had the luxury of speaking to them, and cool people. They give advice that like honestly, I feel like I'd had to like I feel like I should have paid for that advice. And
Hmm. What's the best piece of advice you got?
the best piece of advice that I've gotten was the minute it starts feeling too easy, do something else. Like in the sense of cinematography, so many people get caught up in one video that does very well.
Hmm.
They're like, skits work, right? And then they just do skits forever.
Right.
Like once it gets to that point where like you no longer enjoy, do something else. Challenge, don't become a nuanced thing. become just a wide variety of he can do narrative content versus um travel content versus like a short film, like be that different. Like we don't know what he's gonna post when he posts it, instead of being like, that's why I stopped those month and a minutes, because I was like, after 12, what am I gonna do this for the rest of my life, every single month just reflecting? It has to, things have to end. It's okay when things end.
Right. Yeah.
Revamp, do something else, you know.
Hmm.
And that was one of the best pieces of advice I got, where it was, don't chase the trend, chase the art. Essentially, is what he said. Like, don't do things because they work and you know they work. That's a funnel. Like,
Hmm.
and you don't want to be in the funnel with everybody else. Just do something here in your own lane, and eventually people are going to be attracted to something that's fresh and new.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between someone that makes reels and someone who's an artist,
Yeah.
right? If you're an artist, you always, I mean, as far as I mean, sure, you're gonna find your things sometimes, and some artists are lucky enough to just find a formula that works for them that they just keep doing that
Yeah.
forever. But I think most of us, at least when you look at a long career and a large body of work, you see different periods and eras and times when people were doing different kinds of work or trying this or trying that
Yeah.
or going this direction. You'll see that from musicians to classic artists. You'll always see that.
Yeah.
So I think that's good advice. What's the best piece of advice you've gotten in that you apply to life itself?
That I applied to life. Um, Dang. Hold on. There's something there. I had it. That I applied to just above uh the camera stuff, right?
Right. Above creativity, I guess just I mean it can be related to it.
Keep keep your plans to yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this is just human nature at this point. It's very hard for people to solely be proud of you for the sake of being proud of you.
Hmm.
Like like for instance, your boy, there was envy there. You got a GT, you know? There was like, he got
Sure.
like
Sure.
like
Yeah.
if he probably doesn't hate your guts.
No, no.
He's probably mad at the fact that this guy got a GT. I want a GT. Like, how can I be that charismatic to get a GT?
Hmm.
You can't teach charisma.
Hmm.
But like that's the thing. Like, it's not like you told him for the sake of like just being like, hey, guess what? You know, like you
Right.
just said,
I wasn't bragging about it either.
yeah,
I just
you
said,
just
yeah.
showed up, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden there's somebody's dream car that's just your loaner, and you're like, well, all
Hmm.
right.
Hmm.
And to you, you're like, point A to B,
Right.
and he's like, no, that's style.
Hmm.
You know, like there's only a select few people that would genuinely be proud of you and what you've done. And in my personal take, it's artists that reach out to you when they aren't promoting something, when they just want to see how
Hmm.
you're doing, when
Hmm.
they've noticed a pattern of quietness of like,
Hmm.
hey, Brian, I haven't heard from you.
Hmm.
Um, your mom in some cases, or your like family, like kids, they're they obviously see you as a hero already, you know, most kids, right? And if like most of your like your own children see you as a parent as like a hero, or like of somebody that when good things happen they know that like this is like they know how much it means to you. Like at least from being a son, and when good things happen to my mom, like I'm never like, wow.
Right.
You know,
Oh, right.
I could be
Yeah. Yeah.
broke as life, and if my mom finds $50, I'm like, great, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and obviously just people that genuinely love you, but most times, you know, and that's why sometimes even on Instagram, like I'm, for as much as I post, I'm very private. Um, I have a thing about posting at the moment. I believe it's bad luck. If I'm on something and it's on Instagram, trust I'm already off of it. I'm miles away from it. I believe in bad people, bad karma, bad eyes. Like I just I'm not everybody. I've always said this. Some people want to see you succeed, but they want to tell you they're proud of you while looking down.
Hmm.
And I've been learning that a lot lately, where it's like dude, wow, like amazing album. We should make a song sometime.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you know, or wow, dope video. You want to shoot my daughter's ballet recital? Where it's like it's always like weird, and I don't think people mean it.
No, they don't. I generally don't think they do. I don't
No,
think it's normally out of malice. Sometimes it will be,
yeah, or
and
businessy, like how people see it. They're like, I'm just trying to come up.
or so. Do you say that last part because sometimes if just like the random person wants you to come shoot, they're underestimating you,
I think
or do you think
what,
it's just not clear? I mean, their intentions are good,
yeah, yeah. I
and
think
sometimes we can make it into something it's not.
yeah, I think people ultimately believe that my goal is to just continue to work and record
Hmm.
because it's obvious that he loves recording. So here, let me give you something to record, and that's
Right.
how people see it. Um, but more so just telling your plans, dude. Like telling your plans, and I think about this in the way of like, I'm showing these songs or the album to people early, and for me, I feel like it's such an honor to do that, like,
Mm.
cause I'm showing something early. Some people are just listening and tuning in, and then they're probably not even paying attention like that, like the way I am.
Right. Well, and that's why yeah, you've got to be selective about the people you do that with,
I know,
right?
so bad at it.
And I mean, I've been lucky enough to have friends who are musicians who had albums that are coming out who will play them for me. But I guess I like to think that they're letting me listen to it because they understand how I'm going to actually listen to it.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily, some of them anyway aren't just playing it for everyone who'll listen to it because then
Yes.
there's no more novelty. There's nothing to release.
Yeah.
If you're just letting everyone listen to it,
Yeah.
you're kind of fucking yourself in so many ways when you do that.
I know.
But we're searching for that validation. I've been very guilty of it myself. But that whole like not letting people know your plans thing, I mean, there's two folds to that.
Yeah.
So you can go the negative route, I suppose, which I can understand where that comes from, is that people are going to think bad on you. You know, they're going to put negative energy towards it. I think what actually the reason people shouldn't do it is because there's so many times where you can say, well, I'm going to do something, and you tell a bunch of people about it, and everyone's like, oh yeah, good job. It's awesome that you want to do this.
Hmm.
Right. And they're like, and then you're almost getting enough of the feeling that you want from the thing,
Yeah.
from people telling you it's awesome that you said you want to do that thing, that you don't feel like you need to do the thing anymore,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, and that will honestly be the second you start telling everyone that you're going to do something, that is when your motivation to actually do it starts to wane,
Yeah.
right? But I guess there is the other part too, is because you don't want to create the that jealousy, I guess, or that whatever it might be. But again, that's the ego.
Yeah.
That's the ego there. I think even just reframing that in your head as to why you maybe won't like tell people your plans or show them your work too early is not because of who's going to hate on it secretly
Yeah.
and quietly, but the the fact that you're keeping it special,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
not sharing it.
Let it like I feel like sometimes I'm like I want to show everybody so they can tell me it's great,
Hmm.
and I can psych myself out and be like, okay, cool. Then the knot loosens up a bit.
Right, right.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, you want to see this video before I release it to the masses? And they're like, sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of people saw that trailer for the album before it came out.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. I think it's totally cool to have a few people you do that with.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Just to have another set of eyes on it, that kind of thing. I think sometimes we trick ourselves by thinking that the best content we see out there
Hmm.
was completely made by the person we're seeing in the content,
Yeah.
and there was no one else that had anything to do with that.
Yeah.
So like having trusted people that you can rely on, that's a team. Even if it's just a couple people, that
Yeah.
can give you the feedback and you say, well, maybe we should tweak this, or you know what, maybe a shot from here might actually really like totally change this.
Yeah.
But those are people that you want that feedback from.
Yeah.
not the person who doesn't know shit about shit,
Yeah.
but wants to give you feedback, you know, um, just because,
Yeah.
you know,
That's true.
because I mean, there's people I want feedback from, and there's people I don't, and it's no
Yeah.
disrespect to the people I don't want feedback from. It's just that this isn't where I value your feedback.
Yeah.
You know,
There's other places.
right,
Yeah.
right, 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 right.
Yeah. Hmm. That's true. It's true. I think the plans thing of just keeping the plans close to the chest is it comes from a deeper understanding of like I don't want to count my chickens until like they're hatched.
Well, yeah, right, and I think that's just a that's a honestly, I never connected that phrase, but I think that says the same thing almost I just said,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you're counting your chickens, right, before they're hatching,
Yeah.
so
You don't even know.
you're yeah,
Yeah.
right, you just don't even know, so it's like you're getting that praise and you're like acting like you just got 12 eggs,
Yeah. Yeah.
when that's your boy. Like, I mean, he could be um talking it up and embellishing, or
Yeah.
he could be acting weird because he's maybe slightly like wishes he could have created that or something,
Yeah.
you
Like
know,
I almost never
or
really like
they just don't fucking understand what you're actually doing,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's why it needs to be such a tight circle. Is because not everyone's going to understand what
Yeah.
you're doing or trust you to just let you do what you're doing, even if they don't understand it.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. And that's the thing. That the thing for me is I don't even like it sometimes when someone's like,
I think
"You
that's when I
did
don't
it."
like the feedback. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you
right,
you
right.
did it. And it's like, "No, I'd rather
Yeah.
keep believing that I'm still doing. I don't want to feel like I did it." Like,
No, that's such a fucking fallacy, man. The
yeah,
whole you did it thing.
I don't like it. I
No,
hate
no,
it.
no, no, no. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. There's no like
There's no
you
it.
no, that's it's a verb, it's not a place.
Yeah,
Like you have to be doing it.
doing it.
You
Yeah,
don't do it.
yeah,
Like you have to be doing it. It
and
has to be a verb. It's
yeah.
not a place. Like it's not I'm done. You
In
can
my mind, every video is going to be better than the one you just last saw.
right,
It
should be.
has to.
That's the idea.
Yeah, it
Right.
has to. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't come out, not me, but every video I've ever made, I promise you, has to be good in my eyes and better. So the trailer, I'm not even gonna lie, I love that trailer.
Hmm.
Loved it.
I feel that's important.
Yeah,
100%. That's very important.
very interactive. I was able to introduce like dialogue, like me talking to the camera
Hmm.
in a professional, like it sounded nice.
And yeah, and in a slick way that I don't think I've seen it do before.
Yeah,
Whereas I guess I'm thinking just with what I've learned kind of recently, I was like, okay, well, how did he time
yeah,
that up? That was pretty dope.
yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you, but it was cool. And then guess what? Next video I make, if it don't have something close to that, if I go back to like just subtitles and no words, everyone's like, you know what I mean? You just showed us this world of what you're capable of doing. Like that's like if you finally do a backflip and then like
Right.
that's you did it. If you're never able to do a backflip again, you waited. It's like it's not a movie where you train so hard for the backflip competition and the last scene is the backflip and then
You did it. I'm sorry. Like you did it is you did it is something my 1.5-year-old just learned to say.
yeah
Right.
yeah
And I did it. She's I did it. Right. And
yeah
it's the cutest thing. That's the point. When you're a child and you're learning how to do something,
you
like
do it
you did it. Like
yeah
you did it. You learned it. Right. But I guess in your adult life, like there's very few times when you can say I did it.
you
Like
did it
well, so when my older daughter graduated from college, you did it.
you did it.
But in terms of like after that,
It's like promotion,
you better keep
you
doing
know?
it. Like it's all about doing it. It's all
Yeah,
about doing and being,
yeah,
right? Let's and being more than doing, I think, and a lot of people get caught up in doing, honestly. But
yeah, yeah,
you don't ever just reach this place where your work is all done.
yeah,
As what like that's that's my version of just saying I don't like when people say that I'm successful or something like that because
yeah.
I don't feel like I can consider myself successful
Hmm.
at any point
Yeah.
I've been successful at things or I've had successful outcomes, but my life's not a success until it's over.
You know, somebody said a while ago, the reason why kids cry so much is because everything they're doing is new. You
Yeah.
know, from
Yeah.
like walking down a step.
Right.
We don't cry when we walk down a step,
Hmm.
but when they do, they did it,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And they have a million did it's
Hmm.
until, they're doing it. And that's why, you do praise the did it's in those moments because they did.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
they're walking.
Maybe. What if?
Where we're challenging the
No. What if we get mad when about the whole like you did it thing, or at least it catches us the wrong way now because we didn't hear it enough when we were a kid.
It's probably the case. My mom wasn't much of a
Yeah, yeah.
participation trophy type of person.
I feel like a lot of immigrant parents aren't.
Yeah.
My father was not.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
She's like, I remember what my mom was, Mom, there's this girl I'm talking to. I'm in high school. I really want you to meet her. And she's like, you should focus in school.
yeah,
I'm like, right. That's, yeah, I mean, you did it. I show my mom the videos now and she's like, wow. Right? Like,
yeah,
mind you, I'm doing amazing things. She's
yeah.
like, ooh. And
Right,
she
right,
doesn't,
right.
you know what did it for her is? Put me in a mansion in Dominican Republic
Hmm.
and tell me I don't have to worry about a damn thing again.
Right, right.
That's when I'll be like, you know what? My son's cool. It's not even did it. Like,
Well, I guess at that point, once if I get there to like my absolute ideal, but then I guess by the time you get there,
you're working on something else.
right, you're gonna be working on a million other things. So it's like you never
You
did it.
know,
Like
doing it.
you've done things,
Hmm.
and you'll finish things and you'll complete things and you'll start things, but I did it or I'm a success is
It's arbitrary.
it's completely pointless,
Yeah.
right? I mean, sure, take the win, count the wins. People don't count wins enough,
Hmm.
but at no point. So I almost wanted to say like that sometimes can be almost a passive aggressive statement. Like
Yeah. Like a trauma response from us to be like,
well, no, I mean like even that you did it itself
yeah,
from depending on the person. I
yeah.
guess to take it back to where you were kind of talking about um kind of the lens that you were seeing um
From people.
the love or the hate from like telling plans, right? So
Yeah.
it's if they're kind of you did it, oh you did it, dude, you did it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't know, sometimes just kind of bullshit.
Like the other day, not the other day, someone said to me, dude, you're going to make amazing movies one day. Who the hell said I wanted to make a movie? I've never said that ever in my life.
Yeah, honestly, on that, I almost might even just take that as his own vernacular.
Yeah, of like what did it for him in my life would be is
Well, yeah. To him, he might just be using movie as a loose term.
yeah,
That's almost how I would take it.
yeah.
Is
That's
and
like you have to interpret these things now,
right,
of
right,
how
right, right,
people
right.
say and that. I guess that's an
But
artist
but
thing
but who
too.
knows though too? You might actually and
Yeah,
you might be thinking movie in the case of like the movies you typically see, but maybe one day you do make a movie.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
mean, ultimately, I mean, cinematography and is filmmaking, and
yeah.
who's to say you don't make something that's a little bit more long form one day?
This is true. This is true.
Because at a certain point, that's just going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
But you'll
It
do it in
gets
your way.
yeah. You say you done did it so many times that the next big thing is a major thing, and then you're like,
Well, and
huh?
like you were saying, every time once you master something, move on from it.
Yeah,
Eventually, next on the list is going to be a movie.
yeah. Not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong. I think for me, whenever again I get into that mode, I always think of like being put in a pocket, and I don't sit in pockets, and
You have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
yeah, the chip exists. Okay, the
It might
chip
be a big
exists.
chip. It might be a big chip.
The chip exists because I've done so much by myself that like I
Mm,
I live on my own.
mm,
I'm in my own world. Like
wow.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's a chip or of a protective gear where I'm like,
Well, yeah.
don't put me in a pocket, dude. I'm just trying to do this shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, whoa, you like, and yeah, like because I'm not out here being like, oh, I'm the best. Like it's more of like, yeah, we're trying. you know, and it's just like, who's we? And I'm like, just me and my alter egos, I guess. Like, and yeah, you get, you know, with the music and videos, you create these personalities, and you become different versions, and they all morph into you ultimately because it is you. You just separate it and then create, and then, you know, like, um uh what's that instrument?
Accordion.
An accordion. And then you make noise, and then you're back to your normal self, and then you release the content. And then I just don't like someone knowing what I'm about to do next. I don't like somebody telling me, you know, like you should do this. It's like I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing right now. And you know what the biggest problem is for me, I'm being transparent. Too many people aren't focusing on what they should be doing, more so on what other people should be doing instead. I don't look at other people and think, you're not doing enough. You need to start, like, I just look at myself, and I sit in my studio myself, and I think of these videos. I don't I don't know. Like, I don't do the art of mimicking, like, in terms of like, oh, Jens did this. Like, can I hang out with you and see? And I'm like, what? Why would you want? You know how many times someone's asked me that? Like, if they could just ride along with me and just watch me do it. I'm like, no. Like that. Like, I like being alone.
Hmm.
And when I create something off of the strength of being by myself, or having my cousin just hold the camera, and like it's just somebody personal with me, we did that, you know, like we
Right,
we
right.
created something just for someone to come out of nowhere and be like, I feel like you should start making movies with, and it's like, oh, bro, first off, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm like, that's where the chip comes from, where it's like, we doing this, you know? And
Well, I think
yeah,
the chip comes from something way deeper than that, but that's a
probably.
whole nother
No, I mean,
conversation.
hit me, man. I'm still
No, no,
trying to
no.
figure this shit out.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. Honestly, and I'm not a psychologist. I have no credentials to, for any of that. But it's I just in my own life, I've realized that, and I think it's just being discussed more nowadays. It's becoming a little more a little more normal for men to talk about these things and to actually talk about their
Yeah,
emotions and their feelings and things that might have impacted or shaped the adults that they've become.
yeah,
And so much of it comes from childhood. In
yeah,
so many ways, we're still that kid. So I feel like when, and I think it was Gabor Mate, which if you don't know who that is, you should look up his work. He's pretty amazing. But he said something about trauma that we don't act our age when trauma is triggered, you know?
yeah.
And so this could be little t trauma or big T trauma, but like that's going to make you react that way, you know? But when trauma is triggered, like we're not acting the age we are, we're acting the way that we were when the trauma
Ensued,
happened,
yeah,
right? So like that immediate negative reaction to when someone is actually saying something nice,
yeah,
you know, like it's a defensiveness
yeah,
that is like comes from, and I'm not trying to make this deeper than it is, but I just feel like so many things, like all of us are still dealing with shit, or we respond to certain things because of how we learned to respond to them when we were kids.
yeah,
And I guess as a dad, it's something that I really try to be mindful of with my kids. And it's interesting. Every one of them is totally different in how they process things and how you can communicate and work with them. But I mean, I want to have as little of that as possible. But I can almost even recognize as like with my son in particular, right? That I've got to be careful about how I communicate with him because like he'll start to take certain things
hmm,
personally already that can almost like I can already kind of see
yeah,
sometimes.
like like a ripple effect.
Right, right, right. And
Yeah,
then that becomes someone who can't take a compliment,
yeah,
you know, and they get almost mad because I find that in myself sometimes,
yeah,
you know. And
yeah.
it's
Me
like that
too.
guy was actually being nice. What the
Yeah,
fuck did I just bite his head off?
yeah.
Like, you know? So it's
It's kind of what we said with the whole like, oh, yo, you know, whenever you wanna, you're like, LOL. You're like, nice, ha.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
they're like, did I? you know? And that
Yeah,
happens a lot to me too, where like
yeah.
my response, me being like this talkative person, where someone's like, "Oh, dude, like your videos, they do something to me," and I'm like, "Yeah, all right, man," and it's just like this guy just like exposed himself, and I'm like, cool. And it's just I can't take a compliment well. Same way as
Right.
I hate gifts, opening gifts. I love gift giving. I love
Hmm.
being like, I know I got exactly what you wanted.
Hmm.
You put a gift in front of me and you're like, open it. I'm gonna be like, mm-mm. Like it's gonna be so, and I'm be like, and like even though I like it, I can't. I feel like I'm you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, I can't. And it's just like yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just I want to feel happy about my art without hearing anybody else being happy about it.
Yeah. So stop sharing it before you're ready.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, then just drop it, you know?
Right.
Like
Right.
release it, drop it, let
Yeah.
it breathe, do
Let it.
something
Yeah.
new and be afraid. Like, and I guess when like you know, someone came up to me at this art event and he's like, "Yo, you're a savage with the camera." And yeah, you just all I do this thing where I'm like, ah, and then they're like, yeah, I'm like, yo, we trying, and I undermine it because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, like I don't like to feel above.
So as someone who writes copy for scripts and for the different things that you're, for short films and things you've done,
Hmm.
it's not crazy to literally write yourself a response
Yeah,
for those moments.
and I thought that that's what I was doing in those month and minutes, you know?
Well, because they're gonna, well, but those are different things. But that's practice, right? But
Yeah,
that's gonna happen more.
yeah,
And I've learned this the hard way, honestly, is like your response sometimes to positivity when we bring, and I guess the reason I go there is because I really feel like that's what it is. If it wasn't trauma, then we would know how to accept a compliment,
yeah,
right? And when you don't accept a compliment, like, or a gift for that matter, then you're taking something away from them,
yeah,
you know? Like it's really easy, it's a really kind thing to receive.
yeah.
It really is. Because, like, if I give you a compliment and you're like, nah, I'm like, well, fuck me then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
You're
know?
like, I'm not giving a compliment to this guy ever again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like you appreciate it. And I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
yeah,
Right. But I've really tried to remind myself, and part of it because it comes from my own insecurities, right? Because I don't really believe what you're telling me. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you're just telling me that because you think I want to hear it or whatever. You don't
You
really
need
like,
something.
yeah, you don't really like what I did. You just, I
Yeah,
don't know why you're telling me that. Why you'd go out of your way to actually tell me that, or write me a message on Instagram or Facebook and tell me you like something if you don't. But like that's what we do in our heads sometimes, and that's where I think it comes from, and it comes from that, us just not wanting to believe it or not knowing how to respond to it. But I think literally writing, like coming up with a way that you respond when someone does that, that you can make genuine, will, it'll be an improvement in yourself because you'll actually start to feel better about those compliments,
yeah,
and you'll let that person, you'll be giving that person the gift of walking away feeling good about that interaction with you. Because I don't know about you, but even in who I am, even if I want to give someone a compliment, I don't always feel comfortable walking up to talk to them to give them a compliment. They don't want to talk to me. They're busy. They're at the gym. Whatever. I'm not going to bother them and give them a compliment.
yeah,
So sometimes they like are breaking out of their comfort zone to come and talk to you to give you a compliment, and you can't even give them the be generous enough to accept
yeah,
their compliment.
yeah.
I do it all the time, and it's something I haven't perfected, but I'm just trying to be mindful of.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. A lot of work. Jeez. I'm like, yo, this podcast turned into like a therapy session. I'm like, yo, man, you're right. Oh,
Well, I mean, that wasn't necessarily my intention, but because the intention isn't necessarily. I mean, it's great if you can get something out of it. I get things out of this myself because, as much as and I don't mean to give you advice. I guess this is just the advice that I give myself,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and that has worked for me.
yeah.
That it makes me think of. Ultimately, is I want the listener, any listener that might be going through anything similar that we talked about, to have maybe a different way to look at something, and be able to walk away from this podcast, because we just started recording at one point because we were having such a good
Yeah,
conversation,
yeah.
right? Once we got to a point I was safe, I just hit record, and
Yeah, no,
but
once I just
no, hey,
just
hey,
calm down a
hey.
bit.
Right, no, 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 all good, but and I think it's been a great conversation, and I think that there's plenty of things that the listener could get from it, and that's really the goal. So that being said, actually, because we should probably wrap up.
Hmm.
Like, is if there's one thing from your experience so far in life and so far as a creative that you'd want the listener to take with them, what would it be?
I've spent the last year recording my life from a perspective, a life that I feel like it was normal, is normal. Maybe up until recently, it's become a little bit abnormal. But that was the prize of making my life that was normal just look like a movie. Everybody's life is worth filming, recording, and remembering. I don't know if you know this, but the reason why I care so much about videos is because my dad, that we don't have a relationship. He has videos of me as a kid and refuses to give them to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No.
So I started recording because I like the idea of memories just being recorded since a kid. Like
Hmm.
since I didn't get those videos, I just
Hmm.
created them, right?
Wow.
So now
Yeah.
my life looks like a movie, but it's a normal life. Like I went to work, I went to the gym, I sometimes walked in the middle of a field
But having these recordings is allowing you to have something.
to look back to.
I was gonna say that your your father didn't give you.
Yeah. Yeah. I gave myself.
Right. So you had
So,
just so you gave it to yourself and you're
yeah.
creating this. See, man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but that it's brave of you to say that, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
Being recorded and everything. So I appreciate that openness. And I just appreciate like the encouragement you've given me in this project as well, because I wouldn't be doing it in the way that I'm doing it, I think, as fast as as quickly as I am, without your, we'll say, guidance um and your knowledge, everything you've learned over the last year. And not that I'm not there yet. And neither of us, I think, are certainly saying that you can master photography or cinematography in a year.
Yeah.
Um, but you can certainly do a lot, and the amount of time you put into it within that year is going to make the difference,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you've certainly, I think, maximized what somebody could do with a camera in a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My camera's probably tired of me. I'm like, but yeah, no,
Camera's got some miles on it in a year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'd love to know if there was a way to like record like how much we've recorded. I think I've counted. I think it's like over like 200 videos just on my own personal
Wow, in a year.
in a year.
That's almost that's I mean that's 2/3 of the days of the year you made a video.
Yeah,
Like we're right, 200 out
200
of
videos.
365 days is a lot of videos.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Right.
wild. But yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like everybody's life looks dope, and you're able to record it. It just takes a little bit of perspective.
So are you encouraging people to start filming their life?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So many people are capitalizing and becoming content creators off of their iPhones. Like it's so not even for the money. Most people that get successful in this don't even they just they're moved to a new city and they don't have friends, so they start talking to the internet
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
they again they love making videos and they have a knack for it. But
Right.
someone at the gym asked me, "How did you know that you were meant to make videos?" And I was like, "I didn't." I'm like, and I told him, and this is the advice I'll probably give. one day you're gonna find something that you, for some reason, skipped a bunch of steps like that a lot of people have to walk through because you just somehow got a groove of it, and what you're doing is just you're good at it naturally. Like there's certain people who, they're at the Boys and Girls Club and they're playing basketball, and then next thing you know, they're in a summer program,
Sure.
and takes them less time to get there
Hmm.
than someone else. Same with the videos, same with music, whatever. When you find yourself accidentally jumping stones that a lot of people have to walk through, water that.
Hmm.
Like focus on why that is, and it's most likely because you are talented at that thing. Like, as the hardships of you and your artistry, dude, you've done a lot of cool things. Your
Yeah.
art
Well,
exists on a
thank you.
wall, you know.
Hmm.
You had a basketball tournament. Like that was I wasn't, not to negate the horrible steps that you encountered, but the amazing
No,
steps.
part of the journey, man. I'm not
Yeah,
mad at him.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't change any of that. I might have made some different decisions at certain times, but looking back, I wouldn't change anything. Um, but
Do you feel like your artistry allowed you to jump over a couple stones that maybe your other artist friends just haven't jumped over?
how do you mean?
Like, I'm assuming there's a lot of artist friends that you have that weren't as successful.
Sure. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with, you mean like its relation to ability? You mean, or
No, because
like
I think
just,
it is like if you could be talented and just not have it, and it is so subjective. But like the things that you were able to do is maybe a percentage of luck and being in the right room with the right people, but
well,
also,
I've always felt that we create our own luck,
yeah,
right? And that was kind of like my point with my friend too, is that he just couldn't see that. Like he kept acting like I was just so fucking lucky all the time,
yeah,
and it was just like I'm creating this
yeah,
luck somehow. I'm creating this,
yeah,
right? And um, I think a lot of life has to do with that. There is the concept of dumb luck and things, just sometimes things will just fall into your lap. But I think in most times, I think you somehow engineered your life to,
yeah,
or designed things in a way that this is the outcome.
yeah,
Um, and I think the difference was that I just push it harder, I guess.
yeah,
And I don't always feel like that was the right thing to do. Because there was a lot of ego wrapped up in that. And
yeah.
if there was anything I regret, I guess it would be letting ego like be such a major player in my whole creative process for as long as it has.
Hmm,
You
that's good.
um, yeah, it's um, it's a really tough one because it's it's a really slippery thing,
Yeah.
ego. Because like even if I'm just talking about how much better off I am that I've tamed my ego is fucking ego.
No, it's like can't even talk
Yeah,
about it. It's kind of like
right.
the idea of being humble. Like you can't call yourself humble. Someone else has
It's
to.
just it's kind of crazy. So it's just
Yeah.
a matter of just really trying to create things that I want to exist,
Yeah.
you know, and that I feel called to create.
Hmm.
So,
Not bad.
um, but I think it's a good time to wrap up, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
this has been great. It's been a long conversation. It's been a great conversation. Is there anything that you wish I would have asked that you're gonna walk away from this and say, shit, I wish I had said this before we cut?
No, I mean honestly, dude, I didn't even think I was coming in here to record and just talk about things. To be honest, it it was a lot more helpful than I even think I know right now. Like I think it'll
Okay.
be the opposite where I walk out of here and I'm like, yeah, let's just 10 toes down. Let's be a little bit more humble. Let's be a bit more grounded. I think better. And
Mm,
just let happen. And yeah, no questions left.
yeah.
Like unasked, I guess. But
Well, ego is a tough thing to kind of tame in general, but especially like when you were starting things
mm,
like this, because you need a certain amount of it to be able
hmm
to push you to go and do what you're
Yeah.
doing. But
You'd be crazy a bit, you know,
yeah, you're right,
confidence.
right. Because even some of that confidence you're manufacturing, you're kind of
Yeah, yeah,
creating it, right?
yeah.
But no, man, I wish you so much luck, and I know you'll create a lot of it, and yeah, excited to see where things go from here.
Man, let's do it, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Come on.
absolutely. No, glad this worked out.
Oh, dude, that was good. That was cool.
Peace, peace.